The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
So what do we have going on today? Well, we're off 18 points on the S&P cash. Dow's down 200, NASDAQ's off 36. The question, though, is what kind of volume are we doing in over 4 billion shares? The answer is no, about 3.4 billion shares. Let me update this just to make sure. Yeah, 3.4 billion shares on the CBOE consolidated equities market volume. That's the number of shares traded everywhere, no matter what and where it is traded. And, basically, if you were looking for some big volume off the top, you'd be talking about 4.5 billion shares today. My opinion has not changed. We are waiting for earnings on Friday. China trade issues, probably pretty mundane, as someone said in the den. I like that word, mundane. But what are we waiting for? Well, I think we're waiting for those earnings on Friday. We got about a $400 billion a year trade deficit with China, about a trillion overall, about $100 billion, 150 billion trade deficit with Europe. Most of those are based on tariffs and or just government sabotaging of our business over there. In Europe, it is almost impossible to sell a lot of U.S. food and commodities, farm commodities in Europe because of a lot of the regulations that they have. Are those regulations necessary? The answer is no. They protect their own, just like China protects its own. You hear of the whole thing about fair trade. Well, it isn't fair trade. Before any of this stuff started, there was a 20% tariff on Teslas. So don't understand that. We get a lot of auto parts from China where they manufacture. We put in our car. Those don't have any tariffs whatsoever. So why do we have tariffs one way and not the other? The answer is a living legacy of weak-kneed, spineless, linguini-spined people in government who always want to go along to get along, whether it's in Europe or China. The whole idea is if it doesn't hit on the front pages, then they've done a good job. And, of course, just drip, drip, drip over the years, we've given up a lot for various, just don't make a stink. And when you look at, when I look at the news and Russians this, Russians that, and then I look at 2 senators from California who get tens of millions of dollars a year from China. And I wonder why those folks aren't looked at for some kind of issue, but they are not. That's the way of the world. But you got to think that eventually everybody's going to figure out we've got a fairly raw deal. One of the other big issues hitting the news today, of course, is the fact that we pay about 5% of our GDP into the military, and Europe and NATO countries average about 1.1%. Therefore, they can give away a lot of Western socialist freebies to their folks, and we cannot. We're spending the money to actually protect them all. That is coming to an end fairly quickly. I would say in the next year, these guys are going to have to start spending money on their own. And of course, as all, well, I'm going to say 6,000 years of recorded history of socialism has always failed when the socialists have run out of other people's money. Well, the piggy bank is being pulled back today, and I can hear the squealing all the way from here, from Brussels. So we'll see how that plays out. But my guess is that in the next budget that we see, NATO is going to be vastly cut. And then we're going to see people, I guess, Trump actually pointing it out, how incredibly brittle Germany is now that they've given up their ability to produce power with anything that they have domestically. And all that Russia has to do is turn the valve off for natural gas, and that's it. The whole country shuts down. I think they're somewhere around 80–85% based on nothing but natural gas right now for energy production. Not a smart move to make. I remember being in the electronics business, and the CEO, who was a CFO for a long time, had a theory, and that is that if there weren't two places that made the same product that we could interchange, and any of our products that went down the assembly line, we needed to have 1 year of those parts sitting there. And if we didn't use them, that's fine. We'd go ahead and sell them back, even at a small loss. But you don't want to have a dollar hold up $100 or $10. And that's what happens when you set yourself up to be blackmailed at will by the Ruskies. And no one wants to hear the truth. I kind of feel like I'm living in a world that's the king that has no clothes. And that is that everybody's trying to act like these things aren't happening. But you know what? They're pretty plain. It doesn't take a lot of intelligence to figure these things out. But if you just act very important, and you act like you know what you're doing, even if you don't, it seems the press puts a lot more weight on not whether you're right or wrong, but whether you act like you're right or wrong. But I have a feeling that we're going to find that Germany is going to probably find the switch flipped off more than once or twice. We've already seen the Russians do that with Ukraine and other countries of it. But that's it. You can't handle the truth. Yeah, it is one of those things. So, but I think that's the end, and that's going to be a big deal. When we get back, we'll do a little bit of history. And what everybody tells you is not true, we'll talk about today. We now know it's not true, but people still say it's true. But we know it's not true. In history, on this day, 1979.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
You can't handle the truth.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
It is history repeating, and on this day in 1979, the first American space station, I'll get to that in a second, that is not the truth, Skylab re-enters the Earth's atmosphere and burns up after plans for keeping it at orbit failed to materialize. Fragments of Skylab fell around Perth, Australia, killing one cow. And I remember this quite vividly because guess what? There were some big parties. I remember it was also on a Sunday night. I'm pretty sure it was on a Sunday night. But, man, we had a fairly decent blowout for the Skylab parties. They were everywhere. The problem is it wasn't the first space station. There was a program called MAL, which is the Manned Observation Laboratory program that ran from December 1963 until its cancellation in June 1969. The program spent $1.56 billion during that time, according to some estimates. No one really knows exactly. It is thought that we may have had some 20 people in space at 30 days at a time from about 1966 to 1969. They gave that up for a machine-based system that they put up there in some of the first keyhole satellites that no longer needed film to be sent back down to the United States. They did it digitally, some of the first issues. But also during this same period, if you watched the landing of the men on the moon, you would have seen pictures that were blurry and kind of weird looking. There is a huge amount of people thinking that there's all kinds of things wrong with the videos in those. And they're right. They weren't fake. But the CIA had a huge program to make little black boxes that would degrade the video to make sure that the Ruskies didn't know how good our video is. Right now, in a small McDonald's on an Air Force base that I think is closed somewhere out west, there is a bunch of machines that are surplus from the Hollywood days that I'd seen around the the show floors at the time, they were scanners to take video movies and put them and compress them on video. They're being used now to actually take the original 2-inch Ampex tapes of the data sent back from the moon and some of the original video tape and clean it up and put it out. I've seen there's at least a few clips on YouTube that show just how clean and perfect the video was coming back. So I guess the lesson here is it's not knowledge that's the problem. It's generally the illusion of knowledge and what you think you know. It's a lot of times what you think you know is not right. This was not the first American space station. We don't know which one it was because all the data hasn't come out. But we do know that there were some 20 people, 20 astronauts in this program. And most of them went into space at one time or another. A lot of different stories on what went on, but we'd been in space for probably about a year before, or had people in space for about a year before Skylab ever came. And no one's really sure just how good the video was back in the 60s because the CIA actually had a huge program of different disinformation, and you never really know. So on this day, and of course, that's the rest of the story.
Now you know the rest of the story.
Yep, that's the rest of the story. Other things going on as we wait for the day where everybody goes delta neutral in the options market, so I don't pay a lot of attention till we get close to the end of the day. We're off, about 0.6% on the S&P gas. I was kind of looking either for today to be down or tomorrow to be down. Certainly 0.6% would not say that the market's that wound up about trade issues as a lot of other people think. Again, we've got a $400 billion trade deficit with China. If it goes back to zero, guess what? We got $400 billion and they got minus $400 billion. So I don't understand the whole idea where it's a real big problem for the United States. I think we have the negotiating side and are probably negotiating from strength. Some of the other things going on, I don't know if I talked this up the other day, but I think it happened on Friday. In fact, I did talk about this, so we'll buzz by that. One more thing that I thought was fairly interesting in news today, and that is 5 years ago, Cody Wilson, a big proponent of 3D printing and free speech, decides to 3D print a gun, a plastic gun, and go out and shoot it with a .380 caliber bullet. Doesn't blow up or take his hand off. He drove back to Austin, Texas, uploaded the blueprints, and the government was all over him. Of course, at that time, the administration, very anti-gun, decided to use some fairly arcane laws. He, instead of cowering in the back, went after the government and got a huge settlement yesterday for basically both violating his First and Second Amendment rights for putting up the plans for various guns, including AR-15. But I think this actually opens up the door in 3D printing to getting rid of liabilities, i.e. any kind of design is free speech, unless it breaks some kind of security issue, i.e., maybe you 3D print an atomic weapon. I think they could probably say that there were state secrets involved in that. Something that you can go to the store and buy for $1,000 right now and walk out the door in 45 states. Pretty hard to say that it's a secret. But that's what the government tried to do. They didn't like what he had to say, didn't like what he did, and to use the heavy hand. He bought a fairly expensive machine. There's some pictures of it on the internet today that allow him to basically copy anything. A big $30,000 X-ray machine that gives him all the ability to really duplicate any of these kind of devices. But we'll look at 3D systems here in a moment. Yeah, I have to say that yes, that I was addicted to listening, and that's the rest of the story. It was always just kind of the mint on the pillow of uh, of the day when you were going to lunch, wasn't it? You have to listen to a little bit of the news and the Paul Harvey story. They're always a little bit uplifting, but they didn't know it. Um, 3D Systems, we'll look at SSYS too. Came back into this previous high. That is the 21st of June. You had 3 million shares. You got into it a couple of days ago with 1.8 million shares. These things probably need to come back and consolidate one more time on light volume at 13 bucks. And this may be yet another buy. We'll look at SSYS. It's a brethren in this sector when we come back.
The Path of Least Resistance, David White's daily market letter, gives you trade recommendations based on David's proprietary power law vector indicator that put the odds of success overwhelmingly in your favor. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price for each stock and option trade. David combines his years of trading experience along with his background in technology and computing to offer his subscribers his take on the markets on a daily basis. Every trading day by 9:30, David publishes his morning issue of The Path of Least Resistance, along with updates sent out throughout the week whenever there is new actionable trading information. All new subscribers receive a 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. To sign up for David White's daily trading newsletter right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And the question out there, am I still long? And the answer is yes. No big changes in the positions I have, but I'm not in any index positions. I'm in the individual stocks. They're all pretty much holding up as expected in this little pullback. A lot of them are doing just fine. But nothing goes straight up, nothing goes straight down. The question goes on to ask from John whether or not I suspect we are going to go up and test the highs. And I suspect that, yeah, we are. It won't take long. If I was going to pull the trigger now, I would say that you'd probably want to see that the top of the S&P all-time high is tested before I pull the trigger. Now, maybe everything's a disaster on Friday, but I don't think so. I think it's going to be a little bit okay. We're just going to go a little higher. Not going to take all that much to get to 28.40, and that's it. Now, I can change my mind on a dime if the facts change, but everything I look at now, in fact, even last night, I was out on Tuesday night, as I normally do, going out getting hot wings and playing games of trivia on little boxes. Maybe some of you folks have seen that before. But massive teams get together and play trivia and go at it for the evening. I did that last night, and one of the television was on in the bar was on CNBC for a while, and there were a bunch of people talking about it. I could pick up everybody, and they all thought that the market was going lower. You know what? Every time I've been in a market that I think was topping up higher, everybody was telling me about how it was only going to go to the moon. That I found a bunch of people, anecdotal, I know, but it's worked almost every single time. Have told me going as higher, that was generally a good time to sell. When everybody thought it was going lower, probably a good time to remain long if you could. So didn't see much. Anyway, 3D Systems got back in this high. You're down on very light volume today, 1.9 million shares yesterday. It's 500,000 shares today. SSYS. It's got a little Gartley thing out here. Let's get back on this one. This one's had a trend line down and continues to have that trend line down. We'll see if I can draw it here. It's this one here, and I want to get the ruler. I want to take Mr. Ruler and rotate it like yay. Give you a nice little indication of what I'm looking at. This thing's been in a downtrend and is just basically touched it a couple of days ago and then fell down again. It continues to look a little bit better, but this hasn't broken its downtrend really so far. And you know what? A nice little test around 18.5 wouldn't be a bad thing for this. 1717 is the recent low. That may be all you need to get back in there. That one's got a high volume low at about 2 million shares at 1717. So you want that thing to kind of come in there and test that 1717 with light volume. I suspect you probably see a little weakness in DDD2, but if that comes back in there, that consolidation around $13 may be over. Okay, what else do we have? Okay. Close that. Okay. See what else I've got on the list here. Wanted to get into the airlines. Let me find it right here. Okay. The worst off is American Airlines. They came out and warned this morning. And as I've often said, 80% of everything that airlines do is fuel. 80% of your ticket price goes directly to fuel. Fuel goes higher, airlines have to go lower unless they get some kind of amazing new thing going on. You also have some decent volume against this April 26th low that had 20 million shares. We've got 18.3 million shares already today. This energy is going down. No signal out here that crude is going. The only thing that's kind of amazing to me is that this was a surprise to anybody in the market. We knew the prices of crude. And again, airlines don't instantly move off these. They do get into the futures market and can hedge for a great deal. But if you want to see something that is correlated in the stock market, just get out your trusty Excel spreadsheet, go against airlines, and look at fuel prices. I don't think that there's anything more correlated in the marketplaces ever. It just, fuel prices going higher. Yeah, can they avoid it for a little while with their hedges? Yeah, but at some point like this, they have to come up and come to God, as my dad would say. That would be it. Anyway, DAL's off 78 cents. That's about 1.5%. American Airlines, we showed that already, down 7%. The rest of these guys kind of acting like they're whistling past the graveyard too, though. To me, it doesn't look good. All of them are down, actually. Love actually looking the best of the bunch. This one's got a little, kind of a little hanging man out here today. Was down a lot more. Let's take a look at UAL. Lotus spreadsheets. Lotus 1, 2, 3. I'm trying to remember. I think I have a 5 1/4 inch disc with was it VisiCalc? I think I have it from like 1982 or 3. I don't know why I kept it. Probably because I'm always in fear that one day I may need a 5 1/4 inch floppy and still need it. Yeah, the original disc, VisiCalc. What was that? It was for Apple too. So probably what, 81, 82? Probably somewhere in that range. Okay. What else? Okay, so we've done all those. Those are the ones I thought were probably the most interesting today. Let's go ahead and look at some of the other ones that I don't talk a lot today about. Of course, the crack spread stocks start off with Valero. It's down 2%, a little bit more change, 106.27. As we look at this, it's kind of done its little retracement out here. In fact, let's go back here and make this a little bit more, but fairly close to support. We'll talk more about this when we come back, but not too bad. This thing getting in kind of a mushy area, but down around $100. Doesn't look all that bad. Yeah, you need to be just a little over 100. We'll talk more about this when we come back.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks! Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And other stocks in this whole sector of energy that are interesting are Marathon Petroleum. Now, this one has a very good support area at 70. And, you know, if you thought that crude was getting ready to roll over, I think this would be the one I picked. A little bit too much energy off the June 4th high, but a nice confluence area right here from, was that 69.25 to 69.83. And you're kind of into that today. You bounced out of it before, down on 8 million shares on July 5th, down today on just 2.7. So you're pretty close. The energy, even though it's just a tiny bit more coming off the top, I'd still give this one a few days to take a look at it. But there is your line in the sand, which is that just under $70 level in MPC. Let's take a look at HFC. Now, this one blew through its support area. Resistance comes in at 72.46. So not a bad trade, maybe $7 higher off this June 6th low, 65.77. Energy was a little less off this June 18th high down to the June 6th low. So there may be something in it. The downside is the limited upside in Holly Frontier. Could this go lower? The answer is support would be, if it does break lower, then here it goes back down to 60. So you could see a fairly decent pullback, a healthy pullback from here. But as I said, MPC probably the best of that bunch. That was for Jesse. Let's see if I go through the rest of these questions. Let's go ahead and take a look at some other sectors. Question about Apple. We were talking about it yesterday, and I thought it was the one that had the biggest potential problem with China trade and with actually just having a business that is problematic too. Gap down today. Still think that 185 is kind of the high for the next week in that area. And it's a little higher than that, but I think if you owned it, you'd be happy if it closed a week from Friday at 185. There is a lot of potential problems in this one. 175 could easily be the lows in Apple, depending on the news. I'm just wondering when they come out and announce some of the problems they have, and probably try to pre-announce lower sales into the next product. But everything I read, all the numbers for sales on flagship smartphone sales say that it's not that good. They, of course, cut the numbers down by about 20% of what they were looking for from their manufacturers. That really hadn't affected the stock yet, but I have a feeling that is a lot of Mr. Buffett behind the scenes. Even with his huge amount of ownership in it, eventually I suspect that this is going to come back down to this 175 area. You've got a gap there. That gap goes back to the 2nd of May when this thing gapped up on fairly decent volume of 66.5 million shares. But you also have a fairly wide confluence range from 176 to about 173. So it's a little mushy, but it comes right back into that same gap. So I think that 175 is a good target on Apple. And they're going to have to literally change what they're doing, but I don't think that happens till next year, and that is, I think, problematic. More fun than a roller coaster. Yeah, yeah, not a lot of reason to buy new phones. And of course, these guys are going to be hauled in front, along with Google, are going to be hauled in front in the next few months in front of Congress. They may have had an economy with the truth about what they were doing with and what they were reporting. Even Apple said yesterday that, yeah, with Siri, we've got that microphone on more than when you're talking, more than when it acts like you're giving it a command. We get other stuff, and we listen to it. So, yeah, it is problematic that you are the customer or that you are the product, but even Apple's kind of starting to lean that way. Google, of course, much more in the frying pan for this because I think you can make a case they just outright lied about what they were doing with the data and how long the microphone was on, if it was always on, and what they did with that data to see what you were doing and who they were selling it to. Apple probably a little less problematic in that they weren't out there selling the data, that they were just collecting data that they didn't tell you about. And that is, I don't know. The idea is that you pay up for Apple so that they don't do that. And now that you know that they do it anyway, what do you do? Okay, let's go back here and look at some other issues. Okay. Okay. I wanted to look at something in here. And maybe it's this. Okay, someone wanted me to look at Pan West, PAWN, Pan West. Palo Alto Networks. This one's kind of up at the highs. Had a lot of volume yesterday, not much today, but it is holding up. A lot of cyber news out here today. Energy off the 199.22 low from June 28th. Okay, not that bad. You do have a high volume low at 195.78. I don't see any risk reward in getting in here. The email does not say what they are doing. My guess is it goes back up to 214 to 217. So maybe a buck the next day or two back up to these previous highs in the June 14th range. Of course, over time, this is just back over some of the longer term highs to July 24th of 2015. This thing was 200 bucks. So you've gone over that. You've had some fairly big action. But if there's kind of a long-term trend change in Palo Alto Networks, kind of getting awful close to it, but you can make a case if you get a sign of strength out here that this thing has broken out above that long-term July 24th, 2015 high. Okay, let's see what else in my sectors are showing. Okay, we got a question about Boeing. I'm not going. Okay. You got the Farnborough Air Show coming up. When is that? Farnborough Farnborough Air Show. Let's get the dates on that. One of the big things on this one, what's the date? Come on, what is your dates? Okay, I'll find this during the break. We'll be back with it. They're going to be rolling out that new 797. Want to be keeping an eye out for that. Be back in a minute.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
Okay, the Farnborough Air Show opens the 16th, so that is to Monday. And of course, Boeing's going to roll out. It's supposedly going to roll out at 797, so we'll see that. But it's supposed to be huge more efficient by dropping huge amounts of weight by more carbon fiber, and basically go right into the heart of Airbus's business with a plane that kind of is in between two sectors. But a lot of people think that that's where the airlines want a product fill with a certain amount of seats. I flew back on one of the newer Boeing planes with the chevrons on the engines. If you're not familiar with that, it kind of looks like a little sawtooth pattern on the back of the engines, but maybe kind of a irregular saw. It's actually on the engines on the fairings too. Those vastly change the amount of noise out of the engine. So they're absolutely were able to drop some, I think, some 4,000 pounds out of the plane with insulation, noise insulation in the body of the plane. Everything they're just basically, getting here and there on those. So of course they would, now the plane either is more efficient or could carry more stuff. And that's basically it. They're just refining these things over and over. Plane was very quiet though, much quieter than other planes that I'd been on before. So a fairly effective way of dropping that. Anyway, look for those things, but I don't think I'd want to be short Boeing. It may not go up, but I don't think that it will go down going on Monday and the launch, or at least the rumored launch of 797. Keep an eye out for that. We'll talk about this more, and especially what we got out of options today as a signal in tomorrow's show. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
TFNN has put together the finest programming lineup each trading day, featuring some of the most knowledgeable and respected financial minds in the nation to educate traders and investors. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we broadcast 8 hours a day, starting at 9 a.m. as Larry Pesavento kicks us off with Trade What You See. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we broadcast 11 hours. Get an early and healthy start to your day as Nico and Paige bring you Living a Primal Lifestyle. Then catch Andy Hecht at 5 p.m. with the Commodities Hour, following the Tom O'Brien Show. Swim lessons from TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim is now at 11 a.m., followed by Basil Chapman at 12 noon. See the TFNN program lineup via the link on the front page of TFNN.com to get a complete overview of our TFNN shows and hosts. And keep TFNN's Tiger TV tuned in on your mobile device, PC, or Mac for the latest financial news and information throughout the broadcasting day. TFNN.com, educating investors.